Welcome back, guys, and thank you for joining. It's almost 24 hours passed by, but I'm still trying to upload the video I recorded yesterday. It's 70% right now, and I'm still trying. Yeah, internet sucks here, but gonna continue to record a new video for you today. So let's begin. Today's story is the Count and the Wedding Guests. One evening, when Andy Donovan went to dinner at his Second Avenue boarding house, Mr. Scott introduced him to a new boarder, a young lady, Miss Conway. Miss Conway was small and unobtrusive. She wore a plain, snuffy brown dress, and bestowed her interest, which seemed languid, upon her plate. She lifted her different eyelids and shot on perceptuous, judicial glance at Mr. Donovan, politely murmured his name, and returned to her mutton. Mr. Donovan bowed with the grace and beaming smile that was rapidly winning for him social, business, and political advancement, and erased the snuffy brown one from the tables of his consideration. 2 weeks later, Andy was sitting on the front steps enjoying his cigar. There was a soft rustle behind and above him, and Andy turned his head and had his head turned. Just coming out of the door was Miss Conway. She wore a night black dress, creepy. Oh, this is thin black goods. Her hat was black, and from it dropped and fluttered an ebon veil, filmy as a spider's web. She stood on the top step and drew on black silk gloves. Not a speck of white or a spot of color about her dress anywhere. Her rich golden hair was drawn, with scarcely a ripple, into a shining smooth knot low on her neck. Her face was plain rather than pretty, but it was now illuminated and made almost beautiful by her large green eyes that gazed about the houses across the street into the sky with an expression of the most appealing sadness and melancholy. Gathered the idea, girls all black, you know, with the preference for crepe de chine. That's it. All black and dead set. Far away a look, and the hair shining under the black wheel. You have to be a blondie, of course, and try to look at as if all through your young life had been bli- blighted. Just it was about to give a hop, skip, and jump over the threshold of life. A walk in the park midnight do you good, and be sure to happen out the door at the right moment. And oh, I'll fetch them every day. But it's fierce. Now, how cynical I am. I'm not it. Ain't it? How cynical I am, ain't it? To talk about morning costume this way. Mr. Donovan solemnly reinscribed Miss Conway upon the tables of his consideration. He drew away the remaining inch and quarter of his cigar. That would have been good for 8 minutes yet, and quickly shifted his center of gravity to his low-cut patent leaders. It's a fine, clear evening, Miss Conway, he said, and if the weather Bray could have heard this confident emphasis of his tones, it would have hoisted the square white signal and nailed to the mast. To them that has the heart to enjoy it, it is, Mr. Donovan, said Miss Conway with a sigh. Mr. Donovan, in his heart, cursed fair weather. Heartless weather. It should hail and blow and snow to be consonant with the mood of Miss Conway. I hope none of your relatives, I hope you haven't sustained a loss, ventured Mr. Donovan. Death has claimed, said Miss Conway, hesitating. Not a relative, but one who. But I will not intrude my grief upon you. Mr. Donovan. Intrude? Protested Mr. Donovan. Why, say, Miss Conway. I'd be delighted. That is delighted. I'd be sorry. I mean, I'm sure nobody could sympathize with your truer than I would. Miss Conway smiled a little smile. And oh, it was sadder than her expression in repose. Love, and the world laughs with you, weep, and they give you the laugh, she quoted. Laugh, and the world laugh with you, weep, and they give you the laugh, she quoted. I have learned that, Mr. Donovan, I have no friends or acquaintances in the city. But you have been kind to me. I appreciate it highly. He had passed her the pepper twice at the table. It's tough to be alone in New York. That's a change, sir, said Mr. Donovan. But say, whenever this little old town does loosen up, it gets friendly, it goes the limit. Say you took a little stroll in the park, Miss Conway. Don't you think it might chase away some of your mulligarbs? And if you'd allow me, thanks, Mr. Donovan, I'd be pleased to accept of your escort if you think the company of whose heart is filled with gloom could be all anyways agreeable to you. Through the open gates of the iron railed old downtown park, where the elect once took the air, they strolled and found a quiet bench. There is a difference between the grief of youth and that of old age. Youth's burden is lightened by as much of it as another shares. Old age may give and give, but the sorrow remains the same. He was my fiance, confided Miss Conway. At the end at the end of an hour, we were going to be married next spring. I don't want I don't want you to think that I'm straining you, Mr. Donovan, but he was a real count. He had an estate and a castle in Italy. Count Fernando Mazzini was his name. I never saw the beat of him for elegance. Papa, Papa objected, of course, and once we eloped, but Papa overtook us and took us back. I thought sure Papa and Fernando would fight a duel. Papa was a livery business, and Poughkeepsie, you know. Finally, Papa came around all right and said we might be married next spring. Fernando showed him proofs of his title and wealth, and then went over to Italy to get the castle fixed up for us. Papa's very proud, and when Fernando wanted to give me several thousand dollars for my trousseau, he called him down something awful. He wouldn't even let me take a ring or any presents from him. And when Fernando sailed, I came to the city and got a position as a cashier in a candy store. Alright, guys, it was the first part. Let's see you on the second one tomorrow. See you. Bye.